We have even more brand new Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine lore, this time with a chapter known as the Absolvers, who come from the gene lineage of Sanguinius, and they like to keep a deep, dark secret. So let's jump in and let's get waffling. Now, for those people wondering who the hell are the Absolvers, they were a chapter that had been recently made by a company called Cubicle 7. Cubicle 7 write the Wrath and Glory RPG books. They made this chapter so they can make their own characters, their own lore around Space Marines, and they've just released a brand new book called Vows of Absolution, which is absolutely jam-packed with new information, characters from each company, what each company do, the chapter master, secrets about the chapter, which we're going to get into in this video. It's an absolutely fantastic read. Now, as I stated, we have now learned that this chapter do come from the gene lineage of Sanguinius, which means they have the Red Thirst, they have the Black Rage, and the chapter has a secret about their Black Rage. Like, the opening paragraph states this. I'm going to put it in the background right now so we can read it together. The Absolvers stand as one formidable chapter among over 1,000. Their allegiance to the Imperium unwavering, lauded as stoic and uncompromising warriors, they stand in watchful vigil over the gilded system. Despite overwhelming adversary, especially in the wake of the birth of the Citrix Maledictum, the chapter continues to uphold the vows sworn by their founding chapter master to guard these now forsaken worlds, yet a shadow looms over these venerable warriors. Despite reinforcements by the newly forged Primaris warriors, the chapter has many secrets they refuse to share with newcomers, giving a rise of fractured brotherhood shrouded in murky half-truths. Now, even though the Absolvers are sons of Sanguinius, this is something that they keep to themselves. They don't let other Imperial agencies know that they belong to the gene lineage of Sanguinius. They don't let other chapters know that they are sons of Sanguinius. And it's not that they're ashamed of Sanguinius. They see Sanguinius as one of the favorites of the Emperor. You know, he sacrificed himself to save the Emperor, to save the Imperium, etc., etc. They're just ashamed of the curse that's upon that gene lineage. And that curse is, of course, the Black Rage. The Black Rage was when Horus was fighting Sanguinius. When Sanguinius was slain, his psychic backlash of his death basically bellowed out there and affected his sons, all fighting at the Siege of Terror. They were driven mad by rage by this. They were attacking friend and foe. They were reeled in and they calmed down and stuff like that. But ever since that day, the Black Rage has affected the sons of Sanguinius gene lineage, where if you're in the middle of a battle, you can be fallen to the Black Rage, where you become Sanguinius himself. You see Horus, you see the last moments of Sanguinius's life, and you basically lose yourself to the Rage. Now, the Black Rage itself is a secret that is kept with the sons of Sanguinius, but what normally happens if a son falls to the Black Rage, then they're put in something called the Death Company, where they can fight it once again, but the Death Company basically sent to like a suicidal death. That's why it's called the Death Company. But the Absolvers have a complete different take on this. They are absolutely ashamed by the Black Rage, and this goes as far as actually hiding away those affected in the chapter that have fallen to the Black Rage. Now, the Absolvers don't have a death company. Instead, for those who fall to the Black Rage, they call them the Accursed. And I'm going to put the blurb of text up in the background now because this is a really awesome read. It says, those Absolvers who fall to the Black Rage are known as the Accursed, and to be so condemned is the worst possible nightmare for those who had suffered through the process required to become a Space Marine, while many Blood Angel successors form those who fall into the Black Rage into formidable death companies, thereby providing them with a chance to die in service to the chapter. The Absolvers do not. For them, the Accursed are nothing more but a reminder of the beast that dwells within them all, of the shame they bear for the tragedy at Yellum and every broken vow since. They are locked away in vaults of endless watch screams, pitied perhaps, but rarely spoken of, and visited only only by the chaplains who do what they can to ease their suffering. Some have suggested that the Emperor's mercy should be administered to each and every one, but few wish to put death of a brother space marine who has done nothing wrong, and the Reclusium has ever cautioned against such an approach. It goes on to say most accursed live short and miserable lives, held in chains, forged to resist their superhuman strength and cohesive acid of the Belcher gland. They scream endlessly, reliving the death of Sanguinius, perhaps, or other strange experiences. Few survive long enough, but the accursed have been known to survive for years or longer, witnessing the passage of the whole decades in the unforgiving dark. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time we've seen a chapter that belongs to the gene lineage of Sanguinius that do this to their brothers who fall to the Black Rage. They literally chain them away in the dark and just leave them to rot, leave them to die. They don't want to go in, as it stated. They don't want to go in and kill them or anything like that. They just basically put them away in dark cells and just let the madness consume them. That is actually really grim dark, because if you understand what the Black Rage is, as I mentioned, where it's basically you just lose yourself, you just go mad, you're filled with rage, you see what it is to be Sanguinius in those final moments. We know what Sanguinius' final moments were now, because we've got the end of the death. He was literally like skinned alive, his back was broken, he was ripped apart by Horus, to literally live that again and again, day by day, you know, hour after hour, year after year in some cases. That has to be one of the most brutal ways of going out as a Space Marine. This RPG book, Vows of Absolution, you can actually go and buy right now. I think it's an absolutely amazing read. Like I said, there's so much lore, there's so much stuff packed in this. If you're a Blood Angel fan, then I definitely 110% go out, buy it, recommend it, because it's packed with lore, all dripping back to, of course, Sanguinius himself. And of course, if you're an RPG fan, then it's probably one of the best books you got to pick up, all about Space Marines. But apart from that, I absolutely love this. There's so much more lore in here, which I would love to cover. If you want me to do like maybe a full video dedicated to the Absolvers, because again, this book is full of it, then it's something I will do, because it's Space Marines, right? And they absolutely bloody love Space Marines. But for now, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. What do you think? Do you think it's the best way to chain up those lost to the Black Rage into like the deepest and darkest, unforgiving dungeons and just let them die that way? Or should they be put into death companies to serve the chapter one last time, to die in redemption? You tell me down in the comments. See you in a bit. Have a great day, and bye-bye.